Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Old Man Rambles. I'm a bit late today because the subject I want to discuss, I wanted to take some notes, make sure I have my facts right. So I have a couple notes in my sticky note hand. So today I want to talk about immigrants and rights. Now, what brought this on is I was reading an article about a foreign journalist. I think it was from the United Kingdom. Anyway, he was on US soil. He was asking some questions that certain people found inappropriate. And so he was disappeared by ICE for a few days. He was not allowed to contact anyone. He was not allowed to contact his family or a lawyer. His family had no idea what had happened to him. He just vanished for at least 48 hours. Now, in the conversations around this, the comments were that because this individual was not a U.S. citizen, he had no constitutional rights, and the U.S. can revoke his visa at any time. Now, yes, the U.S. can revoke a visa at any time for any reason, but I take issue with the fact that he has no rights. To start with, I would like to recite something that I learned a very, very long time ago when I was a small boy. It goes like this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. And among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, what does that mean? To break it down, we hold these truths to be self-evident. What does self-evident mean? It means that this statement is obvious, that it is true. We make it true simply by stating this as a fact. Now, it doesn't need clarification. It is so obvious that we shouldn't even need to explain it. These truths are self-evident. That all men are created equal is also self-evident. Everyone is equal. That they are endowed by their Creator, whomever created them, whether you view it as a God, their parents, or the universe in general. Certain inalienable rights. What does inalienable mean? It means they are inherent to their personhood, and they cannot be taken away. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Life is fairly self-evident. They have a right to be alive. Liberty, they have a right to be free. Pursuit of happiness. They have a right to do whatever makes them happy, obviously within certain parameters. The old adage of your right to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. But yes, our Constitution makes this statement. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution makes this statement that everyone has rights. But that doesn't really get into the details of the Constitution itself. So, the Fifth the Fifth Amendment says that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. This was actually decided in a landmark case. Was it this one? No, 14th Amendment, sorry. But anyway, 14th Amendment says that everyone shall be treated equally under the law. Every person shall be treated equally under the law. Lawyers and constitutional scholars both agree that both these amendments apply to anyone who is on U.S. soil, whether they are a U.S. citizen, a visitor, a tourist, an immigrant, a U.S. resident who is not a citizen, or an illegal immigrant. Damn. And I know that the 14th Amendment, at least, was Wing Wong versus the U.S. in 1896. I'm not sure if the Fifth Amendment was ratified. I think it was the Fifth Amendment, but I know the 14th was in that landmark case, and it has been upheld since then. Even under the Patriot Act, George Bush, 2001, these rights apply even when national security is an issue. National security concerns do not abrogate or remove these constitutional rights. Supreme Court, Davis versus Davis, 2001. These are my notes that I needed to take to make sure I was speaking accurately. So these constitutional rights apply to everyone on U.S. soil, and even in U.S. territories such as Guam and Puerto Rico. People have constitutional rights, even if they are not U.S. citizens. ICE had no right to take that man and hold him for 48 hours without due process. They violated the law. And more than that, ICE has forcibly removed 500,000 legal immigrants, people who were here legally on U.S. soil. They took without warning, took without due process. They simply abducted them and either put them in alligator Alcatraz or forced them to leave the country. Some of them were told, some of them were given notice. If you do not leave, if you do not remove yourself from the country, we will remove you. But they had no legal cause to do so. These people were not criminals. These people had broken no crime. These people were living here legally. And ICE has violated the Constitution and the law 500,000 times. Let that sink in for a moment. Can ICE do what they have done? Obviously they can, because they've been doing it. But even leaving off the case that illegal immigrants deserve these rights, even if you push that off the table, that illegal immigrants, because they broke the law, do not have constitutional rights, even though the law and the Constitution and Supreme Court says they do, push that off the table. These 500,000 people broke no laws, were here legally, had their rights violated. And ICE continues to do this. They continue to go after people who are here legally and to remove them without due process of law. They have simply been told to remove people. Just because they've been told doesn't mean they have the legal right to do so. They are violating the Constitution, which is the highest law of the land. They are doing it daily, and they are continuing to do it. I have no words for how outrageous this is, because this is on par with the concentration camps of Japanese American citizens in 1942. This is at least as great a blight upon our country as that incident. These people are being treated as criminals without having committed a crime. And people are cheering for it. And people are making up excuses as to why it's okay to do this. And like so many things that occur these days, this infuriates me. And it should infuriate you as well. But before I end, I would just like to remind you that ICE has violated the Constitution and U.S. law 500,000 times. If you have any power to stop them, I recommend you do so. Good hunting.